This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com with my weekly review of Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer newsletter. And it is my birthday today, and I do share birthdays with Kenny Omega and Fuego del Sol. And speaking of Fuego, his match from the world-class pro wrestling event in Wichita is going to be up later today on the World Class Pro Wrestling YouTube channel and the Hannibal TV. Matt Hardy versus Fuego del Sol. The Blood Hunter versus Sandman match from that same event was posted last night. And that's what this picture is from, which I took that picture myself, actually, as some fans commented that I have a good camera eye. So let me jump into the news here. We'll start with the WWE news. Alberto Del Rio's aggravated kidnapping and 4 counts of sexual assault case goes to trial on October 25th. The December WWE pay-per-view that was originally scheduled for Chicago is not happening now, and instead Chicago is getting a Smackdown taping on December the 17th. Ms. and Mrs. was renewed for a 3rd season by the USA Network. Brock Lesnar and Luther Reigns are the biggest YouTube draws WWE has, according to Dave Meltzer, who always downplays YouTube. And I have nothing against him, by the way. Obviously, I do a report on his newsletter every week, but they do make a lot of money off of YouTube. YouTube is a big revenue source for WWE. So it's cool that to have people that draw big on YouTube. Chelsea Green, the injury-prone Chelsea Green, did an interview where she complained that when she worked AEW All In 2018, or I don't even know if that was an AEW show. I think that was the Cody Rhodes, Young Bucks, and all that crew's show. WWE apparently banned her boyfriend, Zack Ryder, the guy that took the naked stink face multiple times from Luke Gallows in Deep South Wrestling. Apparently WWE said he couldn't come to the show. And she was complaining about that. Well, WWE pays these guys a lot of money, and I don't blame them for not wanting their wrestlers to be at shows that are competitive to theirs. It's not really good business. The Mississippi State Auditor, Shad White's office, demanded for restitution of more than $77 million in misused funds that were supposed to be for needy families. Some of the people that received these misused funds instead of the poor were the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, WWE Hall of Famer, his son, Ted DiBiase Jr., who had a short-lived career in WWE, and Brett DiBiase, who also once worked for WWE. Apparently, the office spent 2 years auditing the Department of Human Services and others who received those funds. And now that the audits are complete, they are demanding that the illegally spent welfare funds be returned. Brett DiBiase owes $225,950. Ted DiBiase Sr. owes $722,299. And Ted DiBiase Jr., who will probably likely go to jail because I don't see how he can pay this, owes $3,903,000. I do believe Ted DiBiase Sr. will be able to pay that off because he had a house worth over $1 million that he sold recently. So he can probably pay off that and get out of his trouble. Again, I don't know how you could do that to poor people. Steal the opposite of Robin Hood. Instead of stealing from the rich and give it to the poor, they steal from the poor. He could be a good heel. WWE still uses Ted DiBiase all the time. Maybe they should capitalize on it. Maybe his son could finally get over with that gimmick too. Put him with his son and have them as a heel stable if you want to have real heel heat. NXT did only a 0.14 rating this week. Raw, as we see Big E failing as the champion, did only a 0.42. SmackDown did a 0.52. Dynamite is airing tonight. It was preempted last week. Impact did a 0.02. And Rampage last week, I forgot to write it down. It was very low. I'll look it up right now what the Rampage rating was. I think it was like a 0.24. So they are falling for sure. Okay, here we go. AEW Rampage rating. Oh my God. It only did a 0.17. Must have been the week before it did a 0.24. Rampage only did a 0.17. That's just terrible. Okay. That sucks for them. Impact did a 0.02. In attendance, WWE Smackdown in Baltimore, October 1st, did 5,200 paid. WWE house show in San Juan, Puerto Rico, my old stomping grounds, did 10,800. They should have done that as a taping. I know it's a pain to tape in Puerto Rico, but if that had been a taping, they probably would have got far more than 10,800. And Puerto Rico always has lively crowds. MLW October 2nd in Philadelphia only had 550 fans. UWN in Commerce, California, for their pay-per-view October 2nd had 300 fans. WWE October 3rd in Lexington, Kentucky had 3,470 fans. WWE Raw in Nashville, Tennessee, October 4th had 3,700 paid. WWE NXT October 5th in Orlando, where the tickets are free, only had 200 fans. From my understanding, it can hold 250. So with free tickets, they can't even get the full 250. October the 6th, AEW Dynamite in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, garbage town, but it is a big wrestling town, drew 6,800 paid. WWE October 9th in Fresno, California had 4,549 paid. WWE October 10th in Bakersfield, California, where I actually worked for WWE before back in 2006, did 3,284 paid. WWE Raw in San Francisco, not only did they get a low rating, but Big E is not a very good drawing champion either. They only had 2,800 paid. Maybe they should have done that Raw taping in Puerto Rico. NXT in Orlando, October 12th, only did 200 again. Couldn't even sell out with free tickets. SmackDown in San Jose last week did 4,400 paid. Tony Khan was at a Jacksonville Jaguars game October the 10th, and he was on the sidelines with a notebook, and there was a page from the notebook that appeared to have the full gear card for Minneapolis, and all the smart marks online were going nuts over this. I really could care less, but that's what made the news this week. Tony Khan did say that Bray Wyatt He has not talked to Bray Wyatt. Not that he could legally say he was talking to him because his 90-day no-compete clause just ended. But he said that he has interest in talking to him but hasn't talked to him. Gene Knitsky has been voted into the British Columbia Sports Hall of Fame. In MMA/UFC news, lots of domestic assaults for fighters. Fighters are, these are all alleged, but fighters can be crazy for sure. I certainly don't condone this type of behavior, but UFC Hall of Famer Chuck Liddell was arrested October 11th and charged with misdemeanor domestic battery after police were called to his home in Hidden Hills, California. Whenever I think of Chuck Liddell, I always think of that clip when he had just done some coke or something on UFC, and they showed a clip of him in the audience, and he's sniffing and rubbing his nose and making funny faces. That's just ingrained in my memory. And Joe Rogan comments, "Oh, look at this guy, he's crazy." Luis Pena was fired from UFC on October 12th based on an October 9th domestic violence arrest. Mike Winklejohn, one of the head coaches at Jackson Winklejohn's camp in Albuquerque, said that John Jones has been banned from the gym after his domestic violence arrest after the recent UFC Hall of Fame ceremony. So there you go. That's the news of the day. Where is Repo Man? I don't know. Thank you for the nice wishes. It's my first one without my grandmother, so I'm kind of sad because she was the closest person to me. Walter, as I said, for superstar Billy Graham, I did a report on it yesterday. He's entered congestive heart failure. So when your heart is starting to fail, he's had heart problems for a long time. He's tough. People can bitch all they want and say, oh, he's got another GoFundMe going. Well, guess what? His GoFundMes in the past have kept him alive. And yeah, he does have a GoFundMe at Billy Graham. People can say whatever they want about him. In my opinion, and I've met lots of wrestlers, I've been in this business since 2001. He's done the most for me out of any wrestler I ever met. And he's one of the nicest wrestlers I've ever met. Has he made mistakes? Like all of us have made mistakes in our life. Yes. Malik, I'm going to have to agree with you on that. 150%. Mike, you're missing Ultimo Dragon, but Piper will check in with you and say hi. She's been keeping me company today. As I'll take another puff off of this because, you know, it's my birthday. I can get high if I want to. And I did notice, by the way, that on Sativa, you can have good workouts. Did I say Luther Reigns instead of Roman Reigns? Sorry. Luther Reigns would be a good interview, though. Kurt Angle is retired. Kurt Angle is beat up. He's been beat up for years. Would I tag with the Beverly Brothers? I've actually been retired for a long time now, so I'll stick to reporting. Coverus with a cool profile picture says Zack Ryder is a dork. Mike D is a big fan of Bo and Blake, the Beverly Brothers. Jimmy, how's life in Ontario? Well, I've been blessed that we've had unseasonably warm October weather, and I've been having crazy good runs lately. Like my run last night, I ran in the rain, and it was, I think, my fastest 11-mile run I've ever done. Vincent, thank you. Sam, yeah, Ted DiBiase. I don't know. I've met him when I've worked for WWE in the past, back when he was an agent for WWE, and I didn't like him. He came off to me like a stooge. Paulie's very disappointed in Ted DiBiase. Michael Collins. I have been to Mississippi, actually, Michael Collins. And you mentioned that it's the poorest state, so it's exceptionally bad that he was stealing money there. I actually was in Mississippi when I interviewed Kamala at his home, which I'll never forget that day. And I really feel bad that Kamala is gone. What about says DiBiase should have used Virgil to steal from the poor? Oh, I won't say the rest of that. I didn't see it before I put it up. I agree with you that New Day are mid-cards, and yeah, they're killing themselves by making Big E the Clown as champion. Bobby Lashley may have not been the next Hulk Hogan, but he was a legitimate, solid guy to have as your champion for now. Roman Reigns, who's the champion on the other side, there should only be one champion, and it should be Roman Reigns. Him and Lesnar are the most over regulars in the company now, even though Lesnar doesn't wrestle that frequently. But if you're going to have a second world champion, Lashley was better because like the New Day has like, they don't appeal to like mainstream audiences. I don't doubt that they have their fans, but I really don't. I've wrestled Kofi Kingston, by the way, not in a TV match, but in Deep South Wrestling in a practice match. I think actually his first match in Deep South Wrestling was with me because I was there the first day he was in Deep South Wrestling. And I have nothing against Kofi Kingston. But as a champion, when he was champion, they had the lowest drawing WWE MSG taping of all time, only about 7,000 for SmackDown. And they even added The Undertaker at the last minute. So they've come a long way from the days when superstar Billy Graham sold out Madison Square Garden 19 out of 20 times in a row. The man of the hour, the man with the power. Too sweet to be sour, the women's pet, the men's regret. What you see is what you get, and what you don't see is better yet. Superstar Billy Graham, bad to the bone.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow.